Alright, what we have today is we're going to be addressing two standard biofalls going in here in this wooded lot. We're going to have a high fall and a low fall. This one here, we just marked it all out. We're going to be taking it, burying it down only about 8 inches. So we're going to excavate this hole out about 8 inches. We're going to have a nice big tall fall coming in over here. And this other little biofalls, we're going to try to create a little interest instead of having them both at the same height. We'll take this one, we're going to bury it down 3/4 of the way, so about 18 inches. So we're going to excavate out a hole 18 inches deep, set this down. The two biofalls sitting next to each other, we're going to have a big boulder right in this area here. Then we're going to have a couple boulders off on the sides. Two falls are going to come together into the central pool area right in here. Then we're going to play around with something different in between. We'll wait and see what we have stone-wise to work with later on in the afternoon before we exactly figure out what we're going to do. Possibly a series of rapids, or if we have some nice, interesting cut stone, we'll have a series of cascades coming together. Over here, we're going to have the water come together from this fall into a pool here, and then we're going to create a rocky outcropping, a little peninsula around the redbud right here. So the water's going to pick up a little steam and get going down through here, kind of creating a little bit of a riffle area. And then we're going to have it twist and turn along this existing pathway that we have. It's going to keep coming down this way, and we'll have another rocky outcropping right in here. Then the water's going to make this bend, and it's going to then fall into that bigger pooling area down below with another waterfall. Periodically, intermittently throughout the stream bottom here, we're going to take some interesting character boulders and we'll carve them into the bottom of the stream bed when we find an interesting boulder. And we'll be doing that throughout the day, and we'll also reshape all of this, kind of creating it a little bit deeper. It's more of a shallow depression right now. We're going to give it a little bit more of a defined edge to it as we have some bigger boulders coming in. So we're going to actually deepen the stream a little bit. Okay, we're going to be putting in, we have just one pump. It's going to be coming up into this manifold system. This is going to help split the water to the two biofalls. So our main feed line is going to be coming in from the pond, coming in right into here. We'll glue this connection up. We're going to have one line going off to this biofalls, which is our taller one, and then we're going to have another line of a 2-inch line going down to the lower one. Because we have the two biofalls, we want to be able to regulate the water between the two. We're going to use a simple ball valve to do that. Always put the ball valve on your lower biofalls, or the place where the water is going to come up the lowest, because all the water is technically going to want to come out that one first. So what we'll do is we'll put the ball valve on, and we could restrict the water. By restricting it, it will back the water up and it will force more water over this taller one, so we could regulate the flow between the two to balance them to get the proper look that we're going for. We're going to set this back far enough from the back of the biofalls so we have access to it. There'll be a berm built up in here, so we do want to have access to this ball valve to balance the system out. Alright, I'm going to make this pool nice and wide. Always excavate it out a little bit more than you think. You could always add soil back in. So what we'll do is we're going to dig this section out. I'll place a larger boulder wherever it looks good, and then we'll come in with the soil and we'll backfill between the liner and the stone. The waterfall coming down into the main part of the stream is going to be coming through this section right in here. We're going to cut this out. We'll have a couple character boulders positioned off to the side. Now the thought process behind doing a stream and waterfall like this is you want to think about the way it would work in nature. In nature, a stream is going to go downhill until it hits a big stone. When it hits a big stone, it changes the water course, and the water's going to want to get around it to the path of least resistance. So we're going to have a big rock here, a big rock there on this side, and then it will appear that the water has eroded away the earth in between those two big stones. So I'm going to create a couple little pockets on the sides. This will be for our large boulders over here, and another large boulder on that side. I want to think about putting in a few key boulders. This will be our pond perimeter, and we'll come out and we'll just create a little pocket off on the side just to accept another large boulder. Same thing on this side. This is going to be, remember, what we talked about earlier this morning was having a rocky peninsula right here. So this pocket on the other side is basically an accent for this, just to kind of balance it out a little bit. Now that we're finished spraying the outline for the stream, we're going to start with our excavation. So we're going to grab our shovels, start clearing everything out, sharpening up all the edges and creating those little pockets for all of our large boulders. Okay, as you can see, we finished our excavation of our upper pool area. We're getting ready to install our rubber liner in place, and then we're going to attach our biofall snout using a silicone sealant and using a series of screws that will bolt through the liner into the actual body of the filter. The silicone sealant will act as our gasket sealer to make a waterproof seal between the liner and the actual filter. And then we'll start, once that's in place, we're going to start in with our stonework using a polyurethane waterfall foam to seal the boulders into place. Okay, Josh is finishing up, sealing up the second biofalls, and I just want to make a quick note to show you what he did on the first one, and I'll be doing it on the second one as well. Put a little fold in the liner. What this does, it alleviates the pressure that the liner could have on the filter itself. When we position our big boulders on top of the liner, if they twist and turn or move at all, they could put some stress on the joint. So by having that fold, it will take the stress off of the joint and it will get taken up in that extra slot. All right, here we are at the rock pile in front of the home. We have 9 tons of boulders here to work with. We have some interesting pieces to choose. So we're going to basically go through at this point and pick out the rocks we feel would be good inside of a waterfall. Something like this is good. It's not just perfectly smooth. It does have a little bit of interest to it. Would be a good stone for going in between or off to the side of one of the biofalls, not necessarily having water run over it. A rock like this one might work. See how it's got a high spot and a low spot here? You could very easily see water flowing over this one section of it. These smooth ones here are a little bit tougher to work with. You need more water going over them to create the same effect as a fractured stone. Because what happens is the water wants to hug the surface of the smooth stone. By having that broken edge, the water actually falls off of it and it leaves the face of the stone. This one here, the water would just kind of create a smooth trickling effect, just making the rock pure wet, which is not the look that we're going for. Here's another fractured stone. The water would come off of this busted edge and actually leave the stone. It also has what I like to call a return cut on it. So that means the stone is cut backwards, so the water again would fall instead of actually hugging the stone. So this is a good stone to work with as well.